Good morning, good afternoon, good night, everybody.
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning, Dunen. Hi, Mimin, how are you? Okay, welcome to the last session of this module number 5. Today we have 2 activities. The first activity is the presentation of the African group. And the second activity is some contents about the construction of actors map for your advocacy plan. Okay. I don't know if the African group is here, everybody's here, or I think Nai is not here. Perhaps only Nai. Do you want to wait Nai to start the presentation? And I can continue with the contents. What do you think? Vivian, how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay. I am asking if the group is ready to start now, or what do you think? Or if Nai is not here yet, I can start with the contents. What do you prefer?
So today it has just happened that most of our group members or most of the African members are out in the field.
Okay.
So Nai was supposed to present, but where she is, there is no good network.
Oh, okay.
Even Daisy is in the rural area. I don't know whether, I am not sure whether her network is okay as well.
Okay.
So
Okay.
just in case we don't manage to present today, we will do it maybe in the next class. We are really sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. We can start with or perhaps we can do an in-between solution. Perhaps we can hear your presentation and Daisy, and Fatima, because Fatima is here. And the next session we can hear the presentation of Nai. It is okay?
Yes, I will try. I hope my internet is going to be okay.
Okay. I can hear you very well, Daisy. And if you need some help with some materials, you can send me by WhatsApp and I can help you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I've shared a video in our main group that shows the correlation with environment and indigenous women and what we could probably do. I don't know if you've seen it.
If you want, I can project the video in my screen.
Yes, please.
Yes?
I will appreciate. I will appreciate.
Okay. Well, I think here is the first video. Can you see my screen? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, this is the
Yes,
first
we
video.
can.
Okay. Okay, this is the first and the second.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, Daisy.
I'm sorry, I could not even see the videos play well. I just saw it stop. I'm sorry, my internet is very poor. So that's one. Actually, as I told you earlier, the methodology that I'm going to really dwell in is the use of songs and dances. And actually, that video, we had another video, but Vivian had paid a visit to the lower side of my place that I stay. And her research being on issues environment and all that, and we were very glad because we were talking on environment and how it impacts women. So as you can see, the land in the first video, that's where we come from. It's a very degraded land. The climate change has really hit us. So the women were singing on how it has impacted them, on how this land degradation has happened. They were explaining in the video. It's actually a short video because I'm trying to send a longer video with more words. It's taking like forever. I think it's because of the internet. So they sang to us, and because we understand and we know what it says, next time I'm going to interpret and write them in English as they sing and all that. So they told us how this environment has impacted them as women through the song. Right now, the rivers they used to depend on are all dry. They have to walk for distances to fetch water. Their animals are dying. Right now, they say they had lots of cattle, but right now they don't have none because the lands are degraded. They cannot graze their lands or their animals in the land. They don't have water to fetch their cows. And we had to go to an extent to the other sides where the factories happening, some sewage areas have been set up and all that, and the environment is really bad for the women. And that's why we felt like it's going to be really important to share this with you, so that if you have any insights that are going to help the women, now that we have this thing in our module, it's going to be of great importance. The next one is I know it's not in line with the topic, but I'll be glad to kindly interpret because it's we also talk about Indigenous girls, and most of my research is on Indigenous girls. That's a school performing a dance, and the girls were passing a message, though they were doing it in Pokot to big audience. They were saying, I'm not supposed to be circumcised. I'm not supposed to be denied school. I'm not supposed to be married off at an early age. And I was glad because right now, as we speak, with the girls. I've been with them. I've been talking with them a few minutes ago. So I just had to step aside. And I'm much amazed with how they are passing the information. Just that they are below 18, I cannot record them or I cannot take their pictures without their consent. And it really touched my heart because the things that we are being trained, they are rights. They don't know, but they're trying to speak them out through songs. And that's what we shared with Vivian. I shared with her because she's just a neighbor here. Just that we're in different organizations, and we were very glad and we were very happy about it. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Daisy. It's a very important materials and data for your project, no? It's more than a data and a material. Is a human encounter and an encounter with land, territory, and bodies. Thank you very much. I don't know if somebody want to do some comments to Daisy about her methodology and her perspective. Because this is a good example of how Daisy is in the intersection, no? About ecological justice and sexual and reproductive justice, and how she's in dialogue between the international agenda of and the frameworks of both agendas, no? Somebody want to share before the presentation of Vivian? Nobody?
Teacher,
Okay, Vivian.
it was more of a group work.
Okay, perfect. Go on.
Yes. So we were just discussing, I guess it's because the internet of Daisy is not well. We had so many pictures and videos. Maybe we will send later when Nai is back in the house or in the office. So we were discussing how the community uses songs to convey the different issues that impact them, more specifically on environmental justice and reproductive health, as that is the topic that we're handling now. So when women have issues, they come together and dance and sing, and then while they are singing, they express the problems that they face. And then in reference to the environment, there are some songs that directly talk about importance of trees, like importance of taking care of the water, importance of taking care of the soil, the air. And then there's one specific song that talks about air pollution, that the community should stop practicing things that emit fumes and some toxins into the air. Yes, so those are some of the ways that songs can be used to convey environmental matters, and how the community can work together. Like they should work collaboratively in handling environmental issues. They should be the ones who are taking care of the environment. As much as there are environmental laws, the communities are the first ones, because they have that close relationship with the environment. They're the first people who takes care of their own environment. So it's through the use of songs that good practices is being enacted in the community, using the language that they understand, using the tone that they understand, and it works perfectly well. And then when it comes to reproductive health, you realize that in the community that we come from, it's so hard for women to use terms like vagina, you understand. So there is a way they sing touching those parts of the reproductive health, conveying to the girls the importance of preserving their bodies, cleaning their bodies, and respecting themselves until when they are married. Yeah, so use of songs plays a very critical role at the community, because the community uses the language that is only understood within their community, within a given context. So it serves a very critical role. And we were discussing with Nai, Daisy, Fatima, and I on how songs is actually very appropriate tool when we will be undertaking our research in our community. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you very much. I don't know if somebody want to ask. For example, I am thinking about the Asian group and representative because the last section you were talking about the same but obstacle, no? It's not easy in Asia to talk about organs of the sexual and reproductive system. I don't know if perhaps Mimint or Doman, Anania want to do some comments about this issue and the dialogue between. Do you found similar uses of songs in your region or some distinctions too, no? It is possible, it's the same tool, the same methodological tool, but perhaps we have different and specific uses in both areas. I don't know, perhaps Doman, Mimint, Naya, who want to
Please,
comment?
can I say something?
Of course, go on.
All right, thank you. Like us in the Mbororo community now, yeah, people can easily sing, but like when you are with the disrespecting the elderly people, especially when you are with these religious people now, so you cannot dance in front of them like the girls. So especially, oh, we have something like in Koda de Kopula, like shyness now. So dancing will be very difficult to use. So at least better songs now, when just people are just standing, they can sing. But when it come to dancing, that one is impossible. I'm sorry, my connection is not good.
No, it's perfect, Fatima. We can hear you very well. It's a good and interesting point, Fatima. And if it's not possible to dance, for example, in your case, what do you can propose? What could be appropriated for this kind of experience um, to work with girls and women in religious spaces because, as you say, it's very important to propose
No,
in.
for me, like when we call them to, we can just, yes, for me now, when we just call them together now, the most appropriate one, firstly, is prayers. When you make prayers with them, then you can tell stories. That one will be better.
Okay, okay. Tell stories and prayers. Okay, and do you have, for example, do you
Yes.
want to share with the group a story, for example, that you want to propose in your project? Perhaps it's a good
My
opportunity.
connection is my connection. I'm not even getting you. It's coming on and off.
Okay, but now it's very well. I can hear you very well. And it's so
No,
amazing to
you
hear
when
you.
you're talking, I'm not getting you.
Ah, okay, okay.
Mhm.
I am saying if you have an example of storytelling in your case, if you
Yeah, that one is no, I don't know how like to put in English now, but like in my dialect,
oh, it's
the
okay.
language that I can easily understand with me.
Go on in your language.
Pardon?
If you want, you can share a little part of the story in your language. For us, I think it's a good opportunity to hear you speak in your language.
All right, no problem. Let me get back to you in a few minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
Teacher, maybe I can say something as we wait for Fatima.
Okay, go on, Vivian, please.
So speaking on behalf of Daisy, Nai, and Fatima, so while we were discussing, we actually noted that as Indigenous peoples, songs play a critical role. That is the mostly used mode of communication and addressing community issues for Indigenous peoples. And we felt like it is important to make sure that the use of traditional songs is preserved even for the next generation, because that is the most important tool for Indigenous peoples. And the purpose of the songs in Africa, Indigenous peoples, and those in Asia, we realize that they serve almost the similar purpose. Maybe the difference comes in when it comes to the dressing code, how they sing, but you realize that the songs is used to foster unity, to conserve environment, to enhance transmission of good traditional practices, even healing. There are those songs when one is sick, they come and sing for mental health use. Yeah, so those are the things that we noted, and we felt like each one of us should use songs as the main tool methodology when we are conducting our research, because it is the most appropriate one. Yes, among other intercultural methodologies that we shared, like storytelling and body mapping, like you taught us previously, women mapping their bodies on how they have been impacted by not going to school, by GBV, by environmental injustices and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Vivian. We can understand better, or I can understand better, no, how using this song, and I think it's so important when you said traditional songs and good practices, no, and good cultural practices to fight against, for example, these sensitive issues as female genital mutilation, child marriage, etc. Thank you very much. Okay, Fatima, are you ready?
I'm sorry, let me try talking because actually the connection is not the best.
Okay, okay. If you want, you can go, or we will continue. What do you want?
No, just that the connection, I don't know if people will get me, is on and off, on fluctuating.
Okay. Or perhaps you can write a paragraph of your storytelling in the chat.
All right, thank you so much. I'll do that.
Okay. Okay, because today we will work in your materials, okay? In the second part of the session. Because this is the I
Yeah.
think the tricky
All
the
right.
tricky phase is to write, okay? I want to propose a little exercise to work to write. Okay, thank you, Fatima. Oh, I see Nai. Welcome, Nai. We were talking about you.
Angela, sisters,
Okay, welcome,
it
welcome.
was good.
Okay.
Yes, I
do-
can hear you.
yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much. I'm in the field, and unfortunately, I was supposed. Angela?
Yes,
Oh, okay. So you can hear me.
yes,
I
perfect.
was supposed to. I'm supposed to present I have the material, but I cannot displace them because I'm in the car in my field. But I was to show you on how the gathering is done in Maasai community, and I will be using that tool in collecting the data on the intercultural research that based on the topic that I took. I'll be using one of the gathering known as Emanyata, and I have the video of it, the photo, and different activities that are being practiced during that session. But I will also be using the Indigenous calendar. And this calendar shows the sections of the duration of timelines in the and how the community intersect itself within the timeline on their Indigenous calendar. So I was to show all this to you, but unfortunately I can't display them to, and then you can show. This happened because I was not supposed to come to the field, but I'm supposed now to be here because of some issues that happen here in the community. So I had to come for different documentation.
Okay, it's okay.
To tell this all things that I prepared to you, and then we can have all members in the group, if it's okay in that.
Okay, it's okay. We can do the presentation the next session, Friday, with the pictures and the videos, etc. But for today, I think it was important to hear the participants of this group and to understand better your perspective. Okay. Before I continue, I want to ask you, thank you for your comments and presentation. Thank you, Vivian, Daisy, Fatima, and Nai. And now I want to ask you if you have some comments, questions, or experience to share with the group during this fieldwork period, no? We know, for example, Jenny Lynn was her second session, I think. Jenny Lynn, ¿cómo te fue? En este momento quisiera pedirles que...
Jenny, I would like to ask you, it was just the second time out in the field, so how has it been going? Jenny, can you please share your experience out in the field? How was your presentation go in the communities? Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all well. Well, my experience, well, I went on Friday and I began my first phase on dialogues at nighttime. Like we usually do is we share the word around fire, and we were all seated. I was with my grandmother. She already done the call for the previous two people to come in. So we had to do that opening of the whole process that we were going to be carrying out. And I explained to them what it is that we are trying to search, what our objective to take about this practice that we did in the past. But it was very interesting because I had a very schematic topic of questions in order. I had to talk about the objectives to not lose the notion of what was my purpose. So it was a very nice space because all the community, I began speaking, but then I didn't speak at all because the rest of the people was very motivated and started participating. Then my elder aunt began saying that this is the spaces that we used to do in the past with my grandmother, and then nowadays we can't do this because to come back to those spaces like we used to do in the past. So they were making reference about how their kids, the children nowadays, the youth nowadays, are already lazy to get to wake up early in the morning, of actually respecting the spaces of dialogue, and that they don't see it like this anymore, but because people are more like in their phones, and that's how you see how technology disconnects us. So that's one of the rules that we put for all the spaces that we had. We get to get away from the phones because we know that everyone has their own work and different tasks that they need to perform. So we're gonna be leaving the spaces for us right now, and for us to be able to live that experience again, and that we can get all this knowledge and practices that we used to do in the past. So it was very interesting. I feel that we did the official opening of the topic of research, and to bring that good energy to be around us during, to have our ancestors and all the people during the conversation. And there we had the closing, and on the following day, on Saturday, we began to, in my timeline, it was the socialization and validation of. So I explained to them the timeline, if they agree with the date, how we were going to be doing the tunca, that I validated with them, because I already understood their practices that they carried out. But I wanted to see that those were the practices that they used to do in terms of the spaces of dialogue, and just like going to bed to the person that we're going to go visit, the person we're going to be interviewing. So I explained to them how I wanted to project how that in mind, and then they were able to give me some feedback on my ideas, and they would tell me about what was the food that we're going to be taking that day, trying to also remember those foods that we used to eat in the past. They were the typical plate, and not only put the foods that we're eating nowadays, because nowadays we eat flour, but therefore it was just corn flour. So with each one of them, we were able to define what were the foods that we're going to be using. And Taunca, we won't be doing it. We're going to be gathering one just spot and do it there. And I also told them that I didn't want them to, that I wanted to be, everything's Jenny Lee's, and Jenny Lee's doing all of this work. It's for her, but it's more like highlighting that it was a work that is for us. And something that we're going to be building together, because the whole thing is a community purpose, and we really liked it, and that they really enjoyed that receiving, the having the community, and being able to invite people to come to other activities. And it was also I left very excited to be able to open that space for them, because once I asked my aunt, I asked them if we could have the spaces to invite the aunts and the uncles. And my aunt said that she preferred that we felt that space just for us, because that felt that it will flow better at the time of speaking and expressing their feelings and remembering. So our conversation then started to extend in that sense, because it was not only just focused on certain topics, but everything just walked around. So I know that there are many things that to speak about from our different conditions and cultures, and many things got mixed together and fused, because we all want to admire and express certain issues about how we have lost certain traditions, about makeups. I was saying, like, we can do this as a parallel, but without losing sight of the topic, because we're talking about environmental practices and the reuse of materials and new products that we used to do in the past. So finding new words in Wainai as well, on how to say in certain words and how it was used in the past. So that also helped to be able to focus the conversations that we are having in the area, and they're going to be in those dialogues, those spaces. And I felt that they were very motivated and very joyful of having this process as well. This Saturday, that was during the day. And then at nighttime, we did like a summary of everything that we had talked about and the agreements that we had taken. And I felt that that first objective was fulfilled, which is what I had in mind for that first part. And I really felt that I was not alone, that there was a process that they were going to be able to accompany me, and that they were also putting the shirt on to be able to have a great process that would only help us not only for the research, but also that's something that they can carry on to other generations, because it was a great opportunity to recover stuff and to strengthen ourselves with our ancestral knowledges. So there's a little bit of what I was able to live this weekend.
Ya sabía que iba a ir bien,
Well,
pero
that went out a lot better than we expected, I bet. You outlived your expectation. I'm happy I want to see you that you were embraced with your people, with your community, and the women giving you that spaces. And they already did a research investigation for you. And at the same time, I also feel that you're a little bit concerned because of the objective of being able to fulfill the timeline. Just remember that the timeline is not the end. That is just an instrument that we're using. That it's a tool that's going to help you guide yourself. Because I feel that you're a little concerned in that sense. I mean, it's just something that I'm perceiving. But I'm thinking about my own concerns of fulfilling a timeline. Like, for example, myself fulfilling the timeline for today's session. But what's happening is the most important thing. To finding ourselves, having that conversation, listening to our peers from Africa, seeing how you were doing. So yes, in that sense, it's just being able to be open to those spaces. I remember a teacher that said that to me. These are just tools to certain goals, but the real purpose is for them to. I had those spaces in the league. We want to do this, and this, and that. So perhaps I would just say, don't let the objective don't lose sight of the objective. I know that you're gonna fulfill your objective without being overwhelmed. So don't get so tense about it. That's what I want to be sharing with you, because it happens to me as well. So don't lose yourself on the timeline. Yes, I see that energy, and you want to be including everything. But if I do that, then I was trying to find, like, okay, I was saying that they were just started talking about different stories of what they did when they were kids, and they remember stuff that they were doing when they were living in certain areas, and how it was when we didn't have that company, that mining company there. So I was the stone in the air in the time, and how was the way you're living. And so they got excited sharing about that as well. I didn't want to cut that inspiration. Although I had my time respected, but I had to leave that space, because this also helps me to know them, how they live in the past, and know about the life of my aunts and uncles. And it's not easy to open those spaces where everyone is there, because my mom could tell me many things, or my aunts could tell me these things on their own. But when you have them all together, they start to remembering. I remember that you used to do this and you used to do that, and they start to bring different details that get me lost in one conversation. So when I was looking at the time, I was like, all right, I can't be here for so long, but I can't have it all programmed. I gotta let stuff flow and let those conversations flow. And I need to take that into account, though, for the following sessions, just for time, in terms of the time restriction. And that's why I wanted to have the timeline, so that they can also help me see the dates. And I told them that I had to deliver this on a certain date. I had to deliver a document, and that I have a certain due date for it, and that we can take a whole year, but that was something that we could do on weekends together. And I feel that all the discussion that you're mentioning is very important, because it makes me think that when you're speaking in the topic about environment, from the epistemology of where you women, you have to go there. So that's where I would say is that contribution that you're making from your own study is very important, because it's them giving you the information, it's them telling you what they're going to be speaking about and seeing what's the origin like, what happened in the past. So they're doing a remembrance, a live remembrance of the history of the environment in that zone. And they're going through and they're allowing you to show that knowledge that is sacred and ancestral, which is very important to you as well. So I would say, take it easy. Take it easy, because they are answering to your questions, and it won't be in the timeline that you started, that you wanted, and that's fine, because they will provide you. It's wonderful because they're going to be providing you the info, and they're going to be guiding them themselves. I don't know if somebody else. I remember Janeline 15 years ago that we wanted to talk about these topics in the territory. And the women were speaking about what was important to them. They started talking about the calendar, about the knitting, the weaving. And personally, I was desperate about it. I know Dunen, but by myself, I was just, wow, when are we going to get there? Where can we finish this? And I feel that was a good training to understand that the agenda is them. And although we were talking about and the focus that we're proposing. Okay, so now when things calm down over there, it'll be important to listen to Dunan as well. But also to tell you that this happens. And at the same time, if you're doing a good job and if you're answering your question, then what they're showing you is a path that goes beyond the timeline. Lorena, you are available to talk about this?
Mayora, good morning. So happy to greet all of you and Jenny. First of all, say that she opened the door, which is the most important part, and she opened it from the conditions and their rhythm. And to me, that's a huge advance. Second is that she was able to achieve what we're looking for with intercultural research, which is to let them know and have them feel that they're a part of the research. They're not just an object of research, they are the heart of the research, and that research is theirs, because that's the objective that we have as we come in, that they feel a part of this, that they are co-creators of the process, that they are they're not going to be a focal group, they're co-creators. We're all of us together who are going to do the research. And according to the agenda, this always happens when you have these process, when you're going to give the voice and the word, you return the voice to women or originary peoples. And so they will give us a route. That doesn't mean that we are getting lost. It means that we have to go to at their pace. But you are very clear of the heart of what you're looking for and make them feel at some point without telling them this is not important. And Jenny, everything that comes out is important and can be used. Their stories, the play that could serve you for your context. It's not that from there you haven't learned anything or gotten anything. On the contrary, the information that you have to systematize it, cite testimonies that are important, and you can place that in a context. So it's not lost time, and don't get stressed. Yes, it is important that we have our schedule and our date and our deadlines that allows us to have a rhythm. But it's not that it becomes a chain. You're not going to get chained to that. That's your reference. But you're going to flow in the rhythm that they have. So that's what we're going to do, to flow with them, to try to guide the situation, maybe to center the dialogue, because the term is recycling. The most important thing is for you to take 2, 3 bags, for example, of the elements. When you do an element, put them in the center of the energetic center. And then water is another important subject, because if we recycle, we take care of water, the earth. So you bring elements, not your word that calls them to come back, but those elements. That's a suggestion. But don't get stressed. You open the door. I feel like you open the door more than with a key, with your heart. Logistic food, that's the last thing that we need. No, because that's the heart. We're going to cook together. Let's do this together. There, you've opened the door, and you are weaving with them to identify, to find together for the case study that is a tool for them and for action. You found the way. So that's what I would say. And with all the excitement, Jenny Ling, the questions that we have, the general guide, our questions are the road, but they're not they're the vehicle where we move. And if we have to get off the vehicle for a little bit to walk on foot, we will do it without you lose your horizon. You can recreate the questions without losing the spirit. For example, you can say, what is for you? What is water to you? Or what was it like before? Something more of a daily life, but without getting worried. And of course, you take your agenda of what you're going to propose, what you're going to go in depth in that weekend. Let's not forget that. And everything else that happens around it, it's not something that we will discard. It's not information that we're going to discard. It's information that we have in our context that you can systematize and you can add to a chapter. Write it all down, and then we'll see. We can locate where it's going to go. The important part is to recover that wisdom that we can't lose, and have it be welcome. And we'll just figure out where we're going to place it specifically in your study. That would be it. Thank you, Sister Angela, Teacher Angela. Yeah, it gives us a lot of reassurance to know that you're doing so well. Thank you, and I will take into consideration the advice of Mayor Lorena, because it's a really good idea to add the elements. That also helps us to kind of keep on track where we're going. Thank you. Beautiful. Okay, perfect. Dunin, can you talk now? No, not yet. Okay.
I don't know, because Ananya Ananya, can you share with the group some of your experiences in these days? Do you want to share with the group? Because you have a lot of questions and needs in terms of the methodologies. I am thinking perhaps it should be interesting for you to share, but I don't know if you want. No? Okay. Or somebody else want to share with the group some experience or questions before to continue in the session? No? Okay. Well, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, today we are going to talk about advocacy. And in the last section of the session, we are going to do an exercise, okay, in small groups. Well, this is the last session of the module number 5, the application of the intercultural methodology approach. And this session in particular is about mapping relevant actors at different levels, okay? At the local level, national level, and international level. Sometimes it's difficult to think about other dimensions of our work. For example, the national or international level, because we are in our everyday life, no? But it's interesting to think how I can establish a relationship with national actors and international actors, okay? Well, today we are going to talk a little about a map of actors, okay? And which actors are relevant for our project. And we are going to do a little exercise, okay? Well, here we have a video of some advocacy work in Manipur. I won't try to show you the video. No, I think it's not working very well. Okay, let's continue. And here we have an example. Yes, this is an example of a mapping actor in a specific project of economical empowerment in Indigenous women. Yes, for this example, for example, for this Indigenous woman researcher, as we can see, we have, for example, international cooperation as an important actor here in the slide, in the right side of the PowerPoint. Okay, sometimes international cooperation is important because we can have economical support, but not only economical support, but technical support. We can establish, for example, technical alliances. Okay, and sometimes international cooperation should support our agenda. Okay. We have some actors like, for example, the Inter-American Bank in Latin America and in other regions in the world, or some kind of multilateral organizations, okay? Enterprises, okay, and economical associations and different actors in the governments and state should be interesting. And in this specific case of economical empower, of course, NGOs, transnational NGOs, financial markets, etc., should be interesting. And for example, social NGOs and civil society organizations, universities, different office at the national level, and of course, international organizations. Okay, this is a very very easy example. Okay, by now we need to think about your specific projects. Okay, here I have an example, okay, for our exercise. The first step in the left side is to identify some actors, okay? As when we were talking with Jenny Lynn, perhaps the best is not to be so ambitious, but to choose, I don't know, 4 specific actors, because after the map of actors, we need to establish a relationship with these actors, okay? And if I choose, I don't know, 25 actors, perhaps it's not easy for me to work with 25 organizations, okay? I think in terms of advocacy, sometimes less is better than more, okay? It's a good idea to be carefully in terms of what I can do, okay, in terms of advocacy. For example, in this sense, this is the map of actors of Cielo. I don't know if you remember, Cielo Chindoy is a young indigenous woman researcher. She works with us at the university. And Cielo is working actually in a project about legal advocacy and political advocacy against indigenous women violence in her territory in the north of Colombia, in the region of Putumayo. And here she choose 1, 2, 3, 4 specific actors, okay? She's working at the local level and at the national level. And for this reason, for her, for example, the first actor is the Cabildo Indigenous Authority of her indigenous peoples of Kamsha Villa, in the region of Sibundoy in Putumayo. Okay, and the first step is very simple, is to choose and to write the name, the nomination of the actor, okay? After, it is important to establish the category, okay? If it's a an actor at the local level. For example, in this case, this is the local authority in charge of a communitarian process. And the second question is, well, where is my actor, and what kind of actor is it? Okay. And after, it's important to have the contact, the specific contact, the person, okay, the responsible. In this case, the responsible is the political authority, the Taita Juan Pedro. I can see because I have a lot of problems with my eyes. Chicunque, this is the mobile number. Yes, because sometimes we are thinking about an NGO, an office, a communitarian process, but it is important to know how can I establish a specific relationship, okay? After, we need to think about what is the principal activity of this actor, okay? In this sense, the principal activity of the Cabildo Indígena Camchavilla de Siundoy is the political authority, is the principal political authority. And the function of this actor is to promote the well-being of the indigenous people from Kamsha Villa people, and in this sense, to work about indigenous women well-being. It is important for Cielo and her project to establish an interesting dialogue with this authority, okay? But as many of you have been emphasized during the last sections, sometimes this kind of political authority don't want to talk about violence against indigenous women, okay? And she needs to establish the tension, okay? This is an important actor, but I need to know how can I deal with the possibility of rejection of my project, the fear of this political authority to invest his time, his political capital in my project, okay? But she identify good practices, okay? In the case, what is a good practices in this case? The trajectory of Juan Pedro Chicunque. She knows, even if he's the most important political authority in the Cabildo, she know his trajectory, and she know it is possible to establish an agenda with him, okay? This is an example. The second example is, for example, a specific organization of indigenous women in this region. The name of this organization is ASOMI, Indigenous Women Association from the Putumayo region, okay? It is an indigenous organization, a local indigenous organization founded and coordinated by only women from 5 different indigenous peoples in this region, okay? She, in this second column, she emphasized the category, okay? What kind of organization or actor we are talking about. This organization is a local organization, yes, indigenous women organization with an agenda of indigenous women. And the president of this organization is Luz Mary Becerra. She found her contact She produced a little research about, for example, the foundation of the organization, the mission, the vision of the organization, okay? And after that, she understands the principal activity of the organization is to protect the rights of indigenous women in this region, okay? And she identified the organization has a specific project, okay? Because sometimes to establish relationships and advocacy with organization, international organization, multilateral organization, international cooperation, bureaus, office, etc., we need to know something about specific projects of these people, okay? Because everybody is talking about projects, about programs, about actions, and we need to understand and to have some information about these projects, okay? In the case of ASOMI, the principal project is about leaderships, indigenous women leadership, the revitalization of knowledge of indigenous women as traditional healing process of indigenous women using agricultural methodologies, okay? In this sense, Cielo, after doing this little research, she knows that the possibility of establish a relation is in between her project and this specific project in ASIMA, okay, in ASOMI. We have the other example of another actor is the Resilience Fund Mama Cash in Amsterdam. Here, she's searching an international ally. Okay, is in Amsterdam. She knows the international political affairs of these countries, for example, in Colombia, are in between the environmental justice and gender issues, okay? And for this reason, these countries and specifically these kind of funds should be interesting to establish a relationship, okay? The category of this fund is an international fund to support social movements and specifically women and girls and transgender people in the war and specifically with an important work in Latin America and in Colombia. Okay. She in this column of contact, she identified the principal agenda of the fund, the specific contact, and in the principal activity, she understand and identify that this fund is supporting feminist movements which work to defend and to promote rights of girls, women, trans people, and intersexual people in the war, okay? And in her case, specifically, the question of trans people and intersexual and a specific and diverse expression of gender is important in her community because so many young people, young indigenous people are talking about their diverse identity. And if she works only with the local actors as the political authority in the Cabildo Indígena, this agenda of young people doesn't have a space, a safe space to be mobilized, okay? And in this case, it is so important for her and her representative to have an actor, an international actor, to work about this kind of issues. And finally, she proposed Amazon Conservation Team. ACT is a big NGO working in the world about environmental justice. Is an international organization, okay? The representative is Carolina Hill. She's the director here in Colombia. And for example, in this case, the organization has projects in her region and other regions in Colombia, and a specific alliance with a social organization in a territorial perspective. And in this case, it could be so important to establish a relationship with this organization, okay? Finally, she proposed here this methodology, yes. It is possible to see the screen, because I don't know if you can see.
Y no se ve, bueno, yo no la veo.
Se ve el PowerPoint con el cuadrito de donante.
O sea, se ve, pero sí se alcanza a leer las letritas o están muy pequeñas.
Si alcanzamos a leer, ¿qué, perdón?
Las letras del cuadrito.
Ahora no, hace un rato más bien sí se veía un poco más.
O sea,
Ahora
lo
sí,
okay.
ahora sí.
Ahora sí, okay. Well, well, here we can identify, for example, the if is a organization of support, okay, and if the support is high, is not we can if you want, we can do a specific worldview of the actor, okay? You can think in terms of the position, in terms of the support, in terms of influence, okay, and in terms of intensity, okay? Because, for example, in the case of the Cabildo, the political local actor, okay, for her, for example, the support is moderate, okay? She's confident, but at the same time, she knows to talk about transgender people, indigenous transgender people in her community is difficult. But at the same time, for her, the intensity of this relation could be interesting, okay? For example, in the case of the international fund in Amsterdam, she's saying the position of support is high, okay? Because in this agenda of this fund, the transgender and intersexual question is the principal issue. But at the same time, even if the influence and the intensity is high, it's not easy to access of the fund, okay? And she needs to think how she could access to this specific fund. Okay, and in the case of Amazon Conservation Team, she established the position of support is moderate, is in the middle. Okay, it's not high, it's not little, but in terms of the influence is higher because they have a specific projects in her territory and she has a specific relation with the international organization. Okay? This is a little example, but now I want to propose you to do the exercise in your specific projects. Okay? Well, yes, I want now to propose this exercise in small groups by region, okay? During, I don't know, perhaps 20 minutes, okay? Because in the next module, you need to propose your advocacy plan, okay? And today I want to propose you to identify the actors. Yes, you have in the platform, you have this presentation, but if you want, I can take a picture and send you to the mail, to the WhatsApp. And I want to propose in the small groups by region to build together something like that, okay? Identifying principal actors, the category, the contact, the principal function, the good practice, one of the good practices important for your projects, okay? And to think in terms of position, influence, and intensity. You need to choose actors which you should and could work, okay? And if the position is a little position or the influence is so little and the intensity, I think is not that interesting actor, okay? This kind of reflection should be important for us to choose very well our allies. I will, even if you have the PowerPoint in Moodle, I will send you the picture to the WhatsApp group. Okay? Before the groups, I don't know if Dunen, do you want to share something about this issue? You can talk now.
Ahora sí. Así que no mojo el mam. No solo me quedé pensando en Jenny y, y eh, siento que, o sea, eso también las experiencias que ellas cuentan tienen todo que ver con, con nuestro, con nuestro tema de investigación, ¿cierto? Y, por ejemplo, yo trabajo con una partera.
Disculpe la interrupción. Estamos escuchando la traducción en inglés. No
Sí,
en
eso iba a
español.
decir.
We have to listen to, so I was thinking about Jenny Lean and in regards to the time for your research.
Bueno, por ejemplo, trabajo con una
For
parte.
example, I work with a midwife, and my interest as a researcher was to write about her life journey. And she was talking to me about her lineage, and the fact that she was a midwife was not something that was hers as a person, but it also came from her family, her grandmother. And I thought that was so beautiful, and that motivated me. But I didn't like it when she involved her husband. No, because I want to talk to her. The husband shouldn't be there for him because my interest is her story as a woman. And it gave me a bit of anguish when she would say, and he has also been here with me. And I think sometimes those are our trials as researchers, to understand that finally you have to understand the person that you're working with, the research with, and take it seriously and say if her husband's important to her, then of course that reflection needs to happen. They have to have a space in that reflection. And that what Janine was saying, yes, I may be kind of gearing off the objective, but if they talk about how they talked before, healing comes from a different community where climate change and the use of plastics has been huge, because the dynamics of the women in your family was completely different before. And see how those stories are still alive. And a lot of the times those are not taken into consideration. And I feel like it's important. And that's the biggest challenge as a researcher, how, as an Indigenous woman, be able to integrate that and be able to weave that this is a storytelling about women's lives, according to in aligned with your research project subject, but also how are we listening to them and say, you know what, and sometimes it happened to me with the midwife. Oh, I don't want to talk to that man, but it's not about what the message is being said. It's the problem wasn't him. Why does he appear? But the challenge is mine, because it's how do I respect this space that the midwife is giving her husband. So I'm sure that everything has a space and a reason of being. And if there's something that we learn from our ancestral knowledge, is that everything is there for a reason. There isn't something there that's just extra. And you have to give justice to all this. And it's fascinating because you also learn. That's what I wanted to share. Awesome. Thank you. What you're saying is the epistemic justice, because when I hear Dunen and Angeline, yes, of course, the environmental justice is so patriarchal. There hasn't been a space for women's voice, and much less for Indigenous women's voices. So what does it imply to talk about reusing? We have been told that it's only talking about waste, right? But really what Dunen is saying and what Lorena was saying is that it's an exercise of epistemic justice, what's happening. And for them, the important part is not just the waste, but also you're opening the possibility for yourself to create another concept, as you were saying. So that's super important. And in regards to the actors map that we were talking about before we go to the breakout rooms, Dunen is an expert in relating these actors. What advice would you like to give them before we go to the breakout rooms in terms of choosing these actors? How are you doing it from the Commission of Indigenous Women, your challenges? It would be really valuable if they could hear you. Well, not such an intervention that's not so motivating. I feel like the Indigenous women throughout history have had huge challenges, and we have solved them slowly. But it seems that in regards to the state, and I center a little bit more in the national aspect, it's not enough. And it's not enough because in our case, for example, in Colombia, the participation of Indigenous women within this important movement has been important, but where do rights for Indigenous women become material, become real? And it doesn't happen. And it's important to have our rights respected as a general collective rights, but we're not recognized as Indigenous women and our specific rights. So we participate within the framework of the movement, and we've had the opportunity to have a lot of incidents because of our insistence and our persistence. So in the case of Colombia, through the previous consultation, we had the chance to participate in the plans of national development. And it's through this mechanism that we have been able to have agreements and budgets that are specific for Indigenous women, for example, the creation of observatories for the violence against women as emergency plans for responses for violence based on gender, and also centers for Indigenous women. And this has been an achievement because we are saying that in the law of a state, these mandates need to exist, and we need to have budgets in the language of the state. However, it's very important when we materialize this, and that's what I say, it seems like it's an obstacle course, because first they say no, to create an observatory of violence against women, we have to have resources. And then women say, okay, great, if we don't have resources, we're going to make sure that there's a law, and the law is going to have the resources. But then when we are able to get it passed into a law and there's the resources, there's no political will to have these agreements be complied with. So that long obstacle course also becomes exhausting for women, because you say, what is the effective strategy to have the rights of Indigenous women respected? And we go to the international scene, and we have the recent recommendation 39 that Sarah talked about from CEDAW, and how that judicial instrument is going to help us visibilize that lack of compliance of the states in regards to respecting Indigenous women's rights. And I think that there's a very important topic of these allies that Professor Angela is presenting to us, and how, as the Indigenous women's movement in Colombia, we're thinking, if the states can't comply, how are we going to make sure that we make that lack of compliance visible? Because we can't stay quiet. Lack of compliance needs to be denounced, the same way that we're talking about constitutional violence. And for that, we require strategic alliances to achieve this. So my intervention is not very hopeful, but what I do insist is in the need that Indigenous women need to be organized, and we have to document everything that happens, because without having research, without having reports that put in evidence all these violence, it seems like these are silence in time, and we can't allow that to happen.
Muy importante, gracias, Dunet.
Very important. Thank you, Dunen. So we need to have in the actors map that clarity that Dunen was saying. We need to have political allies at an international level, at a national level, at a local level. Allies in regards to economic resources, because we don't have political will. And I would say allies in terms of agendas and synergies. Something that allows us to have strong alliances and strong learning processes, and for also not to feel alone. Make sure we can come together with others who are walking our same path. Could be very strengthening. Mayora Lorena, would you like to comment something? What I would like to say is that it's very important within this exercise that is also going to be done another time, that they can place themselves in the problem and then say, okay, what actors it can influence positively or can help us to articulate, to solve any issues, and what strength we have in what actors have strength in our favor, and they could be regional, national, international, according to the magnitude of the problem, but also what actors are the opposition or are not in agreement with what we're saying, but make decisions and have an influence. We also have to make that list. We can't reach everyone, but we have who are indifferent, who has influence, who has decision-making power, but they have no interest. How do we reach them? We're talking about international actors, but it's important to make a list, a previous list, and then prioritize. I think it's important because for subjects such as environmental justice and structural justice and violence against the gender and the rights to education, etc., and the subjects that you are broaching in your research are not going to be solved only with the study. How do we create political actions? Or how can we articulate these processes so that others can provide their help, which is why this map of actors is very important. And listening to Dunen, it's not that what she's saying doesn't provide any hope, but that this is the context, because the actors are the ones who have decision-making power, and it's not in the power to the service of, but to create the problematic more complex. So it's a very complicated process, and we shouldn't feel that we have no hope. And I love to hear Dunen in the actual specific environment, and she is making the information that she has work, even because it's each law, even if it's not applied, that is existing in favor of Indigenous women is as a result of that resistance and that historical fight. So we have to take advantage of all that framework when we are establishing our actions, to have an incidence and see what actors can come together who is opposed and what key actors are going to reach out to, so that what we're establishing for political action can have some um, impact. That would be my ideas, Teacher Angela. Of course, to establish that position, say those are the ones that have the obstacle, to be prepared how within the healing process, as you were saying, personal and from a community perspective, we prepare for this and to anticipate them, and not just because they're there. It's beautiful, thank you, and I take that for my professional and personal life. Be strategic with those who oppose. Very important.
We have before to go to the groups, we have the storytelling of Fatima. I don't know if somebody could read in the chat that the story of Fatima. Domeni, it is okay for you to read the story?
No estamos escuchando la interpretación en español, disculpe.
Let me read.
Okay. ¿Ya está la interpretación? Because
Oh, yeah. Is Fatima reading?
no, you, but we have a problem with the interpretation. It is okay now?
Sí, ya, ahora sí. Sí.
Go on,
Okay.
Domen, please.
Okay. I hope my voice is clear. That's it?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, good. Oh, wait. Okay. So my story is all about Hulaku. Holo, come, sai. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I thought it was in English. Sorry.
But
Can
after
Fatima read instead? Because it seems to be in her language, and I might not do justice to it. Sorry. Yeah, this is very long.
Fatima, could you read? No, I think she's not
No.
ready.
Or
But
maybe somebody from the African group.
it's a good idea. Daisy, Vivian. Could you read the story?
A minute, let me check. Is it in WhatsApp?
Yes.
Yes, I think they sent on WhatsApp.
I can't. Daisy, can you see it?
On your screen?
No.
In the
WhatsApp.
Where is the story?
Just a minute, Vivian.
Angela, where is the story?
The story is in the WhatsApp, in the chat of the meeting.
I don't know whether it's because I dropped off and then came back. I just don't understand why I can't see.
Okay.
Let me resend it to you. Let me resend on the chat.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I know. If you want, I can share my screen. No. You can see Fatima, Vivian?
I can see it, but it is in Spanish or what? I can't
Mine
see
is
it in English.
So, man, you can see my screen?
But it's in Spanish. I can see only Spanish.
Me too. I can only speak Spanish.
Sí se ve.
Okay.
I just sent it in English in the chat, a picture of the story that Fatima has sent us.
Thank
In
you.
the chat, there's a picture.
Thank you. I have seen on my side.
Okay.
Can I read?
Of course. Go on, Vivian. Thank you.
But I can see the name of the community in Cameroon language. It's very difficult. Anyway, let me try. My story is all about Pulaku, Polokam, Sai, Marasem Tudum, Be, Bulako, that community. And though women are restricted from education and their parents prefer marriages, is because they follow what Islam is saying, and marriages are not to be forced to the young girls. Rather, they accept and agree by their willingness, appropriate time to avoid sexual intercourse with people who are not their husbands, and give birth out of luck. People can still get married and continue their educations based on the agreements they're having with their husbands. The little I can say, thanks. I guess what Fatima meant is forced, marriages should not be forced, especially on young girls. And that education and that girls have right to education. Giving birth should be someone's choice to give birth. Yeah. She's just talking about the challenges that young girls undergo in her community.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Is a very important story. Thank you, Vivian, Doman, and Fatima to because it's so important to hear the experience of Fatima too. Okay. Well, now we have the work in small groups by regions, but perhaps before we can do the break, and at 10 o'clock, in 10 minutes, we can come back and work in the groups. Yes, it is okay for everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi all. Hello.
Hello.
So we are going to start.
Yes, we can.
What's the question? What's the question? Lauren, what was the question? Okay. Where is the question?
Hello. Are we in breakout groups now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think we're going to use we're going to fill up the table.
Okay.
Like identify a common advocacy agenda, I think, that
Oh,
connects our agenda also.
okay.
Let me share the
Please.
table. I did it in English.
Please. Thank you.
But wait.
Oh, actors, identification, category. And what is this? Function principle. Is this?
Wait, you full screen. So
Hello, I just got to the room. So what are we doing now?
there.
Oh, okay, I can see your
Oh,
Yeah,
see
you
it.
see? Yeah.
yeah.
I tried to put it in English.
That's great. Thank you so much, Florence.
Yeah, I think we need to identify an advocacy agenda and identify the actors. And then yeah, fill it in like it was explained by teacher Angela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I
Okay.
asked if is somebody here?
Identify actor,
Tunen.
category, contact number, contact condition, main function, good
Yeah.
practice. Okay.
Like
The actors here is outside of our indigenous people, right?
oh,
Like a government, yeah? Government, businesses, or organizations,
mm-hmm.
right? Who has the influence, who has the power, right?
Yeah, I think so. Both positive and also some oppositional actors. Uh-oh. So how do we go about it? Because we have different
Yeah.
focus, right?
Yeah.
Like somebody is into
But maybe we
gender-based,
can,
right?
But maybe we can start by, who has the authority in that region. For instance, head of the village or region, the mayor, the governors, the legislators.
Like local chief executive or
Yeah, local chief executive, legislators. They have the power, right, to change the policy or laws.
yeah, but like so is this village level or
Yeah,
Level maybe local.
Yeah.
village level? And then
village
so we have
level.
to identify the name and the contact.
Yeah.
And then what do they do?
They're the leader of the region. We can say like that. They lead the people. They lead the the city, right? The town, the village. They have responsibility,
Is
for instance, on government, on governance, for instance. Will be like that, right?
Oh, why it disappeared?
What is that?
I don't know what happened. Wait. Oh, sorry.
What is that?
Sorry. Something got pasted on it, but it was from my other paper. Okay. Sorry.
Oh.
So they
is it okay, nothing. This is making good practice.
Yeah,
so
they're governance. They have the budget. They're the one who has the budget, right, for sustainability. They have the program. They have the resources, human resources. They have technology. What else?
okay, like are we
What
talking
is
of
it? Good question.
so we're talking of town level then? Are we going to engage? Yeah.
Yeah, because Uh, our scope is village level, right? Because we're going to the
Yeah.
indigenous land, to the
Yeah, but
indigenous territory.
it's important to connect with the local chief executive on the town
I
level
think
also.
so. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Yeah, at the town, at the district level. I don't know what your terms in your country.
Yeah, we
It's,
call it
have like
municipality.
municipalities or region. We call it like that. Or district, yeah. I don't know. District, sub-district. Mm, yeah, municipality is fine.
District in Bangladesh.
District we can put also district Florence. What happened?
There's a cat that wants to join the
What?
It wants to join the class too.
yeah. Yeah. So are there good projects or good practices?
Good practices.
We
Oh,
have something called gender and development. They're supposed to have a gender and development. They're supposed to have gender and development in their programs. And there's also a supposedly 5% share in the development budget.
I don't. For my case, I don't have like gender and development. Maybe women empowerment program. Because
They do
they
have.
don't really recognize gender. They might recognize women empowerment. In my case, it's not
Okay.
my case.
Women empowerment.
Yeah, women empowerment. What is that? But gender, is quite high level, yeah, for them. Or they don't really recognize about gender, I think.
How many minutes do we have?
Hey,
Daisy.
I'm sorry, my network. I've been hearing you. I'm trying to speak. You people are not hearing me.
Okay. So the question is,
Yes.
In regards to your project,
Yes.
we identify the key actors,
Mm-hmm.
their contact details,
Yes.
their, I think, principal objective, their role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, well. The ones that are in the chat, right?
Yes.
So everyone says according to her project.
Yes.
Okay. Had someone listed, or can I say one?
Yeah. Say, I will note it down.
So when we identify the stakeholder, do we say, like, for example, let me say my example.
Mm.
I'm going to have the local authority,
Mm-hmm.
and under the local authority, the stakeholder is the chief and the assistant chief, and the elders, and all of them belong to the local authority.
Mm-hmm.
And then on their contact information,
Yes.
I think I'm going just to have the numbers. I have one number of one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The elders, most of them do not have mobile numbers because they live in the rural areas. There is no network connection and all that.
Okay.
Then their main function,
Mm-hmm.
the main function, first of all, for the elders
Yeah.
is to seek their consent so that I can have a free time and a good time, like without any disturbance. When they bless me and once they give me a go ahead to do my research, it's going to be very easy in the community. Like they'll give me access to any point of the community of the 3 villages I'm going to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Then the function of the chief and the assistant chief is I will have the law, like, how will I say, what's the name in English?
Permission.
Exactly.
So
I'll
kama
have the permission.
authorization, you will be authorized.
Yeah, I'll have the authorization to get
Hello,
into
sister.
their
I'm sorry, my
location.
internet.
Oh, I'm sorry, Fatima, or who's that?
Yeah, Fatima?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said my connection is on and off, so I don't even understand what we are even doing. So since I'm trying to get to you people, it's just fluctuating on and off, so I could not even hear or even understand anything.
So your internet is okay now?
Yeah.
So what we are trying to do is to identify the key actors or their partners that we'll be working with while undertaking our research,
Mm-hmm.
and including their contact details,
Mm-hmm.
their principal objective, what is their
Mm-hmm.
goal? Yes. So
What is
maybe
their hello?
yes, maybe you can share because now your internet is okay, and then Daisy will continue.
Okay, like if you want to carry out research, the people you are going to meet, right?
Yes, all the key stakeholders that you are going to work with.
All right. I think like I'm going to work with the imam.
Imam.
Yes, imams, the quarter head.
Who are the imams?
Imams are like the head of the mosque now, because normally I have to take permission as well from them, because I have to invite them to come and pray with us before starting the starting the how can I even put it?
They are like the ustadas. Ustada.
Sheikh.
Yes, yes.
Those ones that lead the prayers. Oh.
The quarterhead.
Okay.
Yeah, the fathers now, the mothers. Because, and the community leaders.
Okay. So what will be the role of community leaders? Fatima.
And the of the young girls.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Daisy.
All right, thank you too.
Yes, Vivian.
Yeah, you were talking. Sorry for interruption.
Yes. No, it's okay. You know, Fatima's internet is on and off, so when it comes on, we just give her space.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So on the main function, I think I had explained they're going to give me like permission and access to the location because they are the head of the location. And the sub chief, we always work with him when we work with the mothers. So it is going to be good to have also his consent so that he will talk to the locals, the villages now in person, so that they'll allow me.
Okay.
Then on the associations, there are two associations, and there's a lady that I had mentioned earlier. I think she's also going to be part of the stakeholders because she once did a research on girls' education, but she did not do on the challenges. I think it's going to be important to have her as part of the stakeholders. There are actually two, Sally and Cheruto. So on their associations, there is one called AMREF. Not AMREF, I'm sorry. It's called there's World Vision Kenya and there's
Okay.
IREP.
IREP. Oh.
Yeah, IREP and World Vision Kenya.
Okay.
So on their good practices is you can ask please.
What will be the role of AMREF?
No, not AMREF, IREP. So the role
Oh,
of IREP is eh. So the role of IREP is they once did a research. So they're going to give me, you know, because I've been given a lot of guidelines in the class. I've learned a lot. So they've been in the ground because they're the ones working in the ground. So their role mostly is I'm going to ask them because there are some people I don't know. Maybe there's something I forgot to say in the class. They're going to remind me or not I'm supposed to do in the cultures. I think that's going to be the main role. Then they once did a research. Like we were asked, who's going to read your research? I said Madam Lucy Mulenke and the Cheruto who once did a research so that I can send it to FIMI. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like they
Then
will give the background information, like literature review that you need.
yeah, yeah.
World Vision Kenya.
Then World Vision Kenya, they have a center here in my ward. And their main role is, you know, they've been helping people in the society. And when I work like in conjunction with them, they're going to help me in such a way that they're going to give me visibility. Because people, when researchers come to the community, they're always being beaten and all that. They're not allowed to do the research. There's actually one lady who came to do research and she was beaten so badly. But when you use an organization like World Vision Kenya, who always gives them food, sometimes they give them reliefs, they give the girls like books, it's going to be easy for me to like, you know, it's going to be kind of a partnership. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my turn now to share mine.
Yes, please.
So the first one is Indigenous community or the community members. Because my research will be on establishment effects of cement industry. So the Indigenous community are the people that are directly impacted by the project. So they are the ones who will give me the information. They will tell me how they have been impacted by the industry, how was life before and after the establishment of the industry. Yes, in a nutshell, that is their role. And then I will work with also I will talk to one of the representative from the industry to get to understand or to get information from their side, what they do, how they treat their waste, employment allocation. I will also want to see the safety of the people who are working there. Yeah. Daisy and Fatima, are you there?
Yes, Vivian, I'm hearing.
Okay. So I'll talk to representative of the industry. And then I will also work with the government because I will just visit the county government. But that is not the major one. But if I get an opportunity, I will go and meet with the environmental impact assessment expert to see whether the industry is complying with the standards that they set while they were conducting the assessment. Whether right now, after operating the industry, I will want to know whether they are actually complying to that, like giving the indigenous community who work in their industry the necessary protective gears, and whether the allocation of the job opportunities, because I'll be looking at the socioeconomic impact. So I will want to see whether the allocation of the jobs is equitable. Yes. Anything else, Daisy, that maybe we need to mention?
I think I liked it. And the fact that you said you're going to integrate the county government, I think they are major stakeholders, and it's good to involve them. Also, the fact that you're working on an industry, I just got interested in that part on your part, actually. I think it's wow.
Okay. Thank you. Also, like you, I guess I will also like to partner with grassroots organizations, those which work on issues to do with environment and natural resources management. Actually, World Vision has a program, IMARA program, which is about integrated natural resources management in ASAL. Yeah, I will also partner with them so that they will give me the technical expertise on how I will successfully undertake my research, because just like your IREP, I also believe like World Vision will be of great importance to me, because they have done their work in that area. So they will shed light to me so that I can successfully undertake my research. Yeah, are we ready?
Yes, we are. That's a good one.
Okay, we were allocated how many minutes?
I'm not so sure because I didn't get to know the time we were breaking for the rooms. My internet is quite unstable. Just as we wait for time to
But
end,
I thought
Vivian,
when
can I
it's
add
time,
something?
they are going to say number.
So Daisy, are we going, one person will will record, or we are just everybody's going to share her own experiences? Of course, if Fatima, if the internet is not going to be stable, maybe we will help her share her experiences on the role of community leaders, head of imams.
Okay, Vivian.
Yes.
If our networks will not be that stable, at least you got to get our points. You will help us and Fatima, please.
Yeah, that will be better. Thank you.
Yeah.
Fatima.
Yes.
What else? Their
Because my
contact
own project is all,
information.
pardon, because my own research is all about bridging the gap strategy to increase educational opportunity for Mbororo girls in Cameroon. That is the title of my research.
So in the meantime, let me try and come up
Yes.
with a table. Yeah, okay.
Pardon?
No, I'm sorry for interrupting you. Continue. You were saying something. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was trying to give you the the topic that I'm doing the research on.
Okay.
Yes. Bridging the gap strategy to increase educational opportunities for Bororo girls in Cameroon. And it's also good to have some people with experience, like the teachers, at least to talk with them.
What did you say? Bridging the gaps?
Are you getting me?
Bridging the gaps?
Bridging the gap
Lauren, are you going to present it or okay? Okay. Okay. So okay. So in Asia group, we have identified specific actors it within our projects, and then category of the level, and then name and location contact will be discussed later. principal function of the actors, as well as good practice project and their position. So we identify specific actors in our project is local chief executive, or we call it local village, or maybe in other term is head of the village. The category of the level could be in town, in the district level, municipalities level, or regions level. So this political leader of the local, they have the critical function in the decision-making process. They also making the programs. They have the authority to make the budget, as well as they have the resources, and they have also the technology. So we have identified the good practice by the local working with the local chief executive. For example, we have like women and empowerment program, and then we have gender and development programs. Then women participation in the village level, women empowerment budget, and also towards the, for instance, program on small for the empowerment women in small and medium enterprises. So we consider the position of the support of this actor is 3 under the number 3. Yeah, number 3 means between the medium and higher level, because they have the higher position, and then they influence. We consider we consider them in number 3, between the medium and higher position. But their intensity, we make them in the first level, lower level, because lack of, for instance, we consider them doing just only on the daily basis, just a routine, not really taking do participatory process, and they don't then they don't do consultation with the indigenous women. So this is the first actor that we identify during the short time. Yeah, and then the next one is National Commission on Women. So we have this National Commission on Women in my country. We call it like Komnas Perempuan. I don't know. In Philippines, they have a National Commission on Women. So we identify in the 2 countries, but in Myanmar and Bangladesh, as we discussed, maybe they have, but with the different name or different function. So they have the power. This National Commission on Women, usually in my country, they have the power to give recommendation to certain institution, and also they also accept the complaint from the community, the indigenous women, and also they also have some procedures, legal procedures to tackle the issues. Yeah, and then we have FIMI. Now we have FIMI, because they are working internationally, globally, located in Guatemala, and we can coordinate and collaborate with FIMI now. For a certain, we consider FIMI is a core actor as well for indigenous women. And then we have TEPTEBA, because TEPTEBA working internationally. They have the headquarters in Philippines. They do the works on policy research, and also represent indigenous women as well. They also actively engaged with indigenous women organization, while maybe they need to do more because there are so many indigenous women in the globally. So this is we consider our the actors And also we have IPRI, Indigenous People Rights International Organization. Yeah, we categorize them as working internationally, globally. They have the office in Philippines, but the headquarters I think in Mexico, and they do many collaboration, research, engagement, collaboration with other indigenous people organization, but most on formal level, but not really on the indigenous people at the how do you call that one, at the village, yeah. And then we have Asia Indigenous Peoples Fact, or AIPPP. This organization, IPP. They are located regionally in Asia, and they have the office in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and they are really active now, working with the indigenous peoples organization in Asia, and they have representatives from Thailand. From Thailand, as I know from the website, they have the representative from Thailand, from Philippines, from Myanmar, that we can collaborate with them to work on the indigenous peoples or indigenous women issues. So this is the actors that we identified during our discussion. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to be sharing a screen. This is a document that we worked on. Can you see it? Jenny, if you can begin, please. The exercise we did it to not extend too much on all the actors that we have regionally or locally or internationally. So here we identified two. Guajira, which is a autonomous corporation, regional corporation that works on the environment. Intern, and they have a public presence as well. The coordinator for there is a position I feel for some practices. I'm sorry, that they support policies and incidents in the department level for decision making, for things that have to do with projection for projects that are presented in climate change as well, and the protection of conservation. That's their position. Is, as we feel, we call them as low. Their influence is high, and the intensity of interest is medium. We put little position because of the contact that I have with them. And then for the moment, we have the Strength of Women with You, which is an organization, a nonprofit organization that works on different projects on climate change, especially with women. And what's the role of women? In the media position, the influence is medium as well, and the interest is high. And that's the ones that we found. But clearly, we have many more. Now we have Liz. I mentioned the Development Agriculture Fund Forum. They are with the support of Carla Pica, which is works in the organization as a coordinator, and they support directly Indigenous towns, especially supporting projects that can be reinforcing the agriculture and their identities, their knowledge, as well as the natural preservation of national resources and food security. And they work with public policies to the support of fund with public policies, public and private policies. And we rank them as high, and we do have some type of funds. We put them as high because of the requirements that they look at. Go a little lower, please. And also much of the slow flow movement, slow flow movement. They also, they support Indigenous towns, and they have a coordinator that is Tarino Dasco, who also works within the local movement, which is an organization, and she has her own pillars and philosophies, and that is the defense and diversity of the tourism, of the environment, and educating and inspire and move those who are around us. And we have the influence that we had, that they said that public policies and private policies as well. We could say we incorporate into them because they're globally and they have small communities and they're all over the world, and we could have access. We have a medium access to them, and it's easier to get to them, to reach them. Yes. I also identified two that are the level. It's called the For Love of the Planet, which is also found working in the territory. And it's a regional organization. And they focus on regional projects, on environmental projects. The good practices include working with different municipalities and local organizations to promote campaigns for cleaning rivers and streets, and collecting trash and recycling in the communities. There are other activities working for animals. I didn't include those because those are the ones that we're aiming at, the ones we have more relationship with my research. And the representation is medium for me. At least that's how I feel it, because it's regional. And knows that they have many resources and they're growing as well. And their interest, I feel that it's high. As I was talking with my peers, I feel that finding that synergy between organizations, it's always very important for giving more a boost to, and it gives more opportunities to have public incidents, at least locally and regionally. Another one that I included was the Department of of each of the municipalities or departments that they have. That for Latin America it would be like departments. And here the organization, the organizational structure of the municipalities, there are departments that have environment and sustainability. And they are local. Each municipality has their own. And they're in charge of coordinating policies and programs and environmental education in each one of the municipalities, in the region in general as well. And when those good practices, you have the coordination between them and institutions and the alternatives to promote projects and educational programs on environment. I was sharing that as a collective, we find this coordination with this department as an ally to call the authorities, the community authorities, to call on institutions and coordinate the different programs for environmental education. And they also have certain capacity. It's not a lot, but installation of furniture, the food they're going to be using, and the material they're going to be using as well to provide this. So for us as a collective, this is very important. The support is important. And that's why I put them as high, because they have a significant impact. In terms of internationally, the FILEC, which is for the Indigenous for Latin America and Caribbean, they are an important ally as well because they have an international reach. And one of their objectives, they want to support the opportunities of the pounds, of the communities, and the indigenous people of Atayala. And among the good practices, we found that they promote good living with an alternative to ensure environmental sustainability and the respect of the fundamental rights. And
So we also included that, and it doesn't allow us to dialogue on other. We left it as a homework to look for this. Perfect. Okay, since we only have 10 minutes and Daisy isn't here, and she's gonna have no signal, let's start the next session for Friday, from Friday, with the Africa presentation in 2 senses. The videos, the pictures that Nai wants to present us, and the actor map. And for now, I want to leave here because we're not going to fit here, and ask you for Friday to please look for some of the materials that you have already gathered. If you have videos, if you have songs, stories, interviews, to bring the material, okay? Because we're going to work with it, okay? Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye, teacher. Thank you so much.